Hello and welcome to Township Talk. I'm Brady McHale. As you may know, Lower Merion Township is a large organization with many departments. There's police, fire, public works, building and planning, the parking division, just to name a few. And each of those has many moving parts. And all of that information gets funneled through the manager's office. And who helps organize all that so the manager and his staff can process it? That would be our guest today, Suzanne Brown, the administrative secretary for the manager's office. Welcome, Suzanne.
Thank
It's
you.
nice to see you again.
Thank you.
So there's always something going on in the township, and you are often at the realm or at the hands of it. Tell us a little bit about exactly what the administrative secretary does.
Well, first and foremost, I answer the phones. They start in the morning and they end at 5 o'clock when I leave at night. Sometimes they're not as busy as other days, but we get a lot of calls that don't know exactly where they need to be. And so I process that and get them to the right person so the question that they have can be answered. We take care of meetings that the township manager and assistant manager has, set those up in the conference room next to us. And we just manage the day-to-day activities of the township.
And when you have those meetings, do you participate in the meetings as well, or is it
Not
more
generally.
coordination?
It's more higher ups, management, people from outside the organizations that they are having some kind of relationship with the township. For instance, we have the ARP Vitality Grant Program, and so we have a lot of different organizations that they have meetings with, whether phone, Zoom, or in person.
And we had talked earlier about some of the other things that you do. I know that you're involved with the flu clinics here at the township. What is your participation there?
Well, what happens is Mainline Health is the administrator of the shots, and they contact us, mid-fall, I would say, and we just organize our employees that are wanting a flu shot. We have a time slot of, say, 9 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're done up in the boardroom, and so we just manage reservations and filter them in.
And how long have you been with the township?
Been here, it will be 8 years this year.
And have you always been working in the manager's office?
Yes, I was hired initially as a part-time secretary in the manager's office, and then 2 years into that, the secretary to the manager was promoted, and I was able to slide kind of into her position.
So it's kind of like a behind-the-scenes position that no one thinks about, but you really are essentially like the voice. So when we call, when a resident calls, you're who they would speak with, and whether it's a problem on their street or an issue with some service that they did or didn't get. How do you deal with the residents? Does that become, a little, I don't want to say difficult, but challenging?
It does at times when they are angry and they are loud and sometimes use words that I don't use. But I think the length of time that I've been there, I've watched others remain calm, which isn't always something I can do easily. I heighten quickly, but I need to be calm so that it calms the caller down. And sometimes they don't like the answer, but it is the answer. And generally, they leave better than they started.
Well, that's always good to hear. A lot of the questions can probably be answered online. Are you a pro at the website and know where everything is on the website?
I am not a pro at the website, and when someone calls and we talk about the website, I do it with them, and so I fumble to find we have so much on the website. So most every, as you said, answer can be found there, but it can be a little cumbersome, so we go through it together, whether it's to submit a right to know or a special event. I try and work with them to find it on our website, and then if they don't have that access, then we just get an email or an address, and we print it and send it to them.
Goes without saying, working in the township manager's office, he's the big kahuna, right? And one thing that you guys do great here is taking care of the employees. And you are a part of the holiday lunch as well as the township picnic that goes on every year.
Right.
How important is that to make sure that that runs smoothly and that, you show the other employees throughout the township, the care that we have for them, both the residents as well as, the boss man, the manager, and yourself?
Well, I think that it's important to listen to what they want. And so during the holiday lunch or the township picnic, there are choices that they can pick from. We don't give them a lot of choices because it becomes unmanageable. However, we listen and then we tweak, and generally, especially with the township picnic that we have in our parking lot, everybody's happy. It's more of a barbecue kind of style sort of thing, buffet. And the holiday lunch, since COVID, we've been able to do more in-person things. But as of right now, our parking lot and the situation that it's in, we can't all meet together. So we're still doing it department by department, but they're happy, and it just, I try to tell them how much we appreciate what they do every day on behalf of the Township Manager's Office.
And it's so important for them to hear that, but it's also important for them to give you that feedback, because it probably makes you do your job or have more information to complete some of the work that you need to do.
Yes.
So, in that same vein about employees and everything, are there any, we talked about the public earlier, and when you get phone calls, are there any misconceptions that, you kind of have to clear up, whether it's information that comes out of the manager's office or maybe something that they read or heard about through the town?
More often than not, the misconception is that the township holds vital records, meaning birth certificates, marriage certificates, death records. That all goes through the state. They are the holder of that information, and so I find myself finding the telephone number for the state of Pennsylvania and Harrisburg, but a lot of people will call and say, I went to Lower Merion, or I was born in Lower Merion, and I need a copy of my birth certificate. That all really goes through the state.
I'm actually surprised to hear that you get a call like that. Perhaps I shouldn't be, but I am. The township there's a lot of redevelopment. Ages are changing within, the median age of the township, but we still have a senior population. We have several centers for the aging. Do you see that you have to help the older population more often than the younger population in your generation because they understand technology, things like that?
I'd say that it's a good mix. The older population, we're very fortunate to have ElderNet here. And so it's an easy referral for the elderly that need services to give them the ElderNet telephone number. The younger population more so in, day-to-day operations. We do new resident packets for people every 6 to 8 weeks that move into the township, and they get a wealth of information.
If you don't mind elaborating on that, what's in the new resident packet?
Well, it's a welcome letter from our township manager that lists every department and the telephone number for contacting purposes. And then we have a security alarm registration. We have tax information from our tax collector. We have refuse and recycling schedules. We have police information and a variety of things of that nature. It's all online. It's just finding it sometimes.
No, but that's really, so I didn't realize that even existed. That's really good information to know.
Yes.
And it's kind of a welcome into the township, and it shows the plethora of information and all these opportunities that Lower Merion Township has to offer.
Yes.
That's great to hear. And that is available on the website?
It is. All that information is actually under a new resident packet.
New resident packet. Well, we have a few minutes before we have to take a quick little break. We're going to learn a lot about you in the next segment, but just a little bit of a tease. You're not from around here.
I am not.
And where do you call original home?
We're from the state of Ohio, and we moved from northeast Ohio in the Cleveland-Akron area.
And you're fortunate to be a township resident?
I am, yes.
Well, we're going to learn much more about you and some more of the duties when we come back, Suzanne. We're going to take a quick break, But stick around, we're just getting to the good stuff, and I'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Township Talk. I'm Brady McHale, and I'm here today with Suzanne Brown, the Administrative Secretary for the Township Manager's Office. Suzanne, we were just talking before the break that you're a transplant. You're from Ohio. Very happy to have you.
Thank you.
But when you moved here, did you immediately move to the township?
We did. We did. We looked at places around that we thought would be similar to where we came from in Ohio, and discovered that the travel to my husband's place of employment just got more difficult. So being where we are, it's easy to get up on the freeway, it's easy to take the train, and the school district is excellent.
Phenomenal. How did you get involved with Lower Merion Township? Was it just an ad that you saw, or were you interested in working in municipal government?
Well, I came from a municipal government position back in Ohio, where I basically the same position. I supported the mayor of the town where we lived, and we were driving back from vacation one August in 2016, and decided that our older daughter had just graduated from Lower Merion High School, and then maybe it was time for me to look for a part-time job just to do something. And I got on the Lower Merion website, and lo and behold, they had 2 jobs available, and I applied to both, and they felt that I fit the manager's office a little better, and that's how it started. I started after Labor Day in 2016.
And you mentioned earlier that there was another role, and then you slid into the manager. What was that previous role?
It was a part-time secretarial position that assisted the position that I am now. So I was there. I worked 8 to 2 every day, and when she went on vacation or had to be out of the office, I slipped in and spent the full day there.
This is kind of a hard question to ask, but I'm going to ask it. What keeps you here? What keeps you staying in the building?
Honestly, the people are a big part of it. My office in particular, we just have a really good rapport with each other, and I think the employees that I get to be around, which is all over the building, they're just great people, and I couldn't ask for better bosses.
And you came from another municipality back at home.
Mm-hmm.
Any differences between here and there, or similarities perhaps?
I tell people that I had about 18 to 20 year break because I stayed home with our kids, and from the time I left that municipal position to the time I joined here, nothing really had changed. Government is government, people are people. Technology, elevated, of course, but I caught on, and it's as technology elevated, you find people do their own letters and things of that nature, but you still answer the phones and you still deal with people and problems, and so I really feel like it was a job that I was well suited for.
Speaking of change, there's always a lot of change in local government, whether it's commissioners, names, the programs from Parks and Rec, or any, something that's new in the township. How do you, being someone who has that face-to-face interaction or telephone interaction with the public, how do you keep up on remembering who's the ward commissioner here and all those different things? How do you have it all up there?
Well, our township secretary has a cheat sheet for me, which helps a lot. And also, it's pretty easy on our website. You can input your address on the very first page, and that comes up with everything that applies to that address. Commissioner, recycling, refuse recycling day, everything. And so that's kind of a cheating way to do it, but it's an easy way to do it. And sometimes the longer you're here, the more that gets embedded.
It's like riding a bicycle.
Right.
You just get up on it and
Yes.
kind of. And Suzanne, how are you different from the township secretary, which is a separate position within the township?
It is separate. She has an office across from ours, but Jody Kelly, who's our township secretary, she serves the 14 elected commissioners, and so she works with them daily, weekly, obviously, sets the agendas for all their meetings, but she also is the custodian of all the legal agreements that the township has entered into with the different, municipalities or entities, state, county, and she keeps all the official records of every Board of Commissioner meeting, and they're in fireproof safes, so nothing can happen to them. They're historical documents.
Is there anything that you would like us to know about the manager's office that perhaps the viewers don't know or might be interested in knowing?
Well, I think that sometimes people feel like the township manager's office is maybe a little untouchable because of the title, but our township manager, Ernie McNeely, and the assistant township manager, Brandon Ford, they're very open. They're very people associated. They deal with any and all questions. If you feel like you have to talk to the manager, they will talk to you. You don't have to be afraid to approach our office.
That's great information to know. I ask this question of all of our guests on Township Talk, and I purposely don't give any time for you to think about it, kind of off the cuff answer. Your favorite part of Lower Merion Township? It could be an object in the township, a display, something that you drive by, a road itself. What is your favorite part of Lower Merion Township?
I think that's a twofold question. We live very close to Merion Botanical Park and really appreciate the serenity of the park and just being able to walk. We have a dog and we walk him there every morning, and it just kind of feels like it's your own. There's so much beauty in the township, and there's so many different corners, if you will, that I don't know. I've been here 8 years and still find different streets and neighborhoods and things that are just the beauty is. I have never been a place where it's been this beautiful.
Phenomenal. For shooting from the hip, you did a great job. Now, you obviously don't spend all of your time in the manager's office, or hopefully working here. We appreciate that you spend a lot of time, but in your off hours, you just said about the dog. What kind of dog do you have?
He's a chocolate lab.
Wonderful. And what do you do on your spare time? Any hobbies or interests?
Well, the lab became our interest because we were empty nesters 3 years ago and thought that adding an energetic chocolate lab was going to be really great. Well, it does get us up and out. But other than our dog, my husband does a lot of traveling for his job, and I have been able to start joining him on trips. So traveling and going to different places is really high on our list, and we also like to try the different restaurants that are around.
Do you have any trips that are coming up? Any trips planned?
I do. I have one next month. We're going to Montana. And then we are going to Oktoberfest in Germany in October, end of September, October.
Now that sounds like a lot of fun, and probably not a conversation that we can have on Township Talk. But I certainly appreciate your time. It's been great to learn more about your role. You're a major cog in the wheel of the township, so we appreciate the support that you have for the manager's office and all of the work that you do. It's been great catching up and learning more about the position.
Thank you for having me.
Sadly, we are out of time, but I want to thank you for taking your time to join us. I also want to remind you that you can find out more information and answers to frequently asked questions on the township webpage. This way you don't have to call Suzanne. I'm Brady McHale. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.